So here is my warning to the private sector of Maryland, all of those who have small businesses and medium-sized businesses in the state of Maryland, as well as a warning to all of those who are even contemplating moving to Maryland. Don't move into Maryland. And if you have a small business and a medium-sized business, get out of Maryland now. The Democrat Party sees you as an ATM machine, and they will never stop until such time as they have the perfect socialist government that will then collapse upon itself because there is no revenue left, as they call it, but really taxes left to collect. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that on this floor, but I think it's now time. Get out of Maryland if you have a business. The majority party doesn't respect you. They don't care about you.
Wow. Wow. So before you ladies go in, I want to just talk about some of the stuff that we're dealing with. The addition of 2 new tax brackets. People earning between $500,000 and $1 million will be taxed at a rate of 6.25%. And those earning over $1 million will be taxed at 6.5%, a 20% increase on the standard deduction rate that taxpayers can claim. They're creating a new 2% capital gain surcharge for people who earn over $350,000. A repeal of the 6% sales tax exemption on photographic or artistic material, an increase in the cannabis sales tax from 9% to 12%, a 6% tax applied to vending machine sales, the increase of the maximum local income tax rates to 3.3%. I mean, this is just some of the stuff that they've already, the budget passed today, that they have put in on Marylanders.
I don't understand why people continuously vote the same types or the people back into office that want to come and take literally from your mouth. You can't even feed your children, honestly, and with dignity. I don't understand why they think that they don't know what to do better than with their own money and labor and time, that a whole bureaucracy of these unnamed people, unknown people, they know how to spend your money better. And what do you get for it? I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand that thinking. Do you really think you are incapable of managing your own life to that degree that some elected or unelected bureaucrat knows best how to spend your money that you go out and earn every day? I don't understand that. It drives me crazy. It literally drives me crazy. It makes me so enraged to think that there are people with a God-given brain, a beautiful mind, as the movie says, and you think that you can't even just add your own budget and manage your own budget. I don't understand it. I will never understand it.
That is
it's too much.
The tip of the spear. Just talking about the tax implications, let's talk about the fees, right? Because fees aren't broken down according to income bracket. Fees are what everybody pays, right? Registering your car here in the state of Maryland is going to cost you a couple of $100s. It's going to cost you even more to do emissions testing, although not every county in the state is required to do emissions testing. So it's a special tax. It's a tax. Now, that's the tax that really burns my biscuits, because the people who don't have to pay in order to get to work, drive through all the counties that have to pay. You know what I mean? So if we're polluting, I think everybody should have to pay or not. But
I know elderly don't have to pay too.
At the certain
they didn't roll back, older people have historic cars, cars that are still very much gas powered, that kind of thing. They're charging more fees for that and making that car have to be even older in order to get those tags, and reducing the amount of miles that you can drive. Of course, we'll still have our gas tax. They're talking about a mileage tax. Well, they will follow your mileage using your Easy Pass or using your license.
They are trying again. It's whatever you do when you just breathe, spit, or shit. They are coming for you. Not only that, this bill, I think it's been said enough, is that this goes into effect July 1st. However, it's indexed. So it's not going to be like this is it. Next year they can add on to this.
Yes.
They can add on to this, not add on to the base levels from where they start. They can add on to this. So it can keep going up and up and up and up. And it will in Maryland. What it's going to do, that delegate, thank you for him, because he was right. People are going to leave. It's a disincentive to even want to earn $500,000 or more. It's a disincentive to be here in Maryland. You know, if you want to do that, it's going to be it's going to drive people away. The governor had the audacity to be on a local talk show, a popular show here this morning. And of course, he's talking in all of these vagaries and people were asking, now, the teachers in this part of this bill, what is the blueprint?
Yep.
The blueprint. Teachers are, because of the unions here, the Maryland State Education Association, MSEA, their powerful union is advocating or pushing for to be out of the classroom 40% of the time, only in the classroom 60% of the time. What? Yet they are going to be getting raises. Now, the blueprint itself, a part of all of this, is not even funded. So they when they passed it, they had no finance stream for it. Right. They passed it unfunded, and now it has gotten bigger. That $3.3 something billion deficit, think about it. We started when Moore came into office, there was like a $5.5, almost $6 billion surplus, right? So this means that in 2 years, he spent the $6 billion surplus, and he spent $3 more something that we didn't have, which makes it so the deficit, it may be 3 point something billion, but the real number is probably closer to $10 billion in debt.
And let me say this, because I know we have viewers that watch from all over the country, some outside of the country, and we appreciate you all. So, but what I want to say is some people say, well, that's liberal Maryland. We don't have to worry about that. We're in Texas. We're in Florida. We're in Arkansas. Yes, you do.
Exactly.
Because what's happening here is if next 2028, or actually we got a Wisconsin election going on now that could really we may lose the House if we don't win this. If a Democrat gets in office as the president, or if we lose the House and the Senate, we're in trouble, folks, because this is the blueprint for all Democrats across the country. They want big government so they can have power and control, and they can tax us out the wazoo.
Absolutely.
This is what they want.
They've never met a dollar they're not willing to reach their hand into your pocket and take. That's just the way they are. They don't see good governance, meaning we had a program. The program served its purpose. Let's defund that program and move forward. If we could just have one legislative session here in Maryland, just one session where we didn't pass any new law, but we took a look at the laws that are on the book and removed the regulations and laws we no longer need, some of this deficit would be quelled. Some of this deficit would be
That's too much like this has been, Nicole, this has been one of my quagmires.
And it's not even about just the budget. These are the same people who say that you don't know how to parent your children.
Yeah.
I'm a much better parent than the state of Maryland. Much better parent than the state of Maryland, and let alone the federal government. Their control over our lives from their perspective has no boundaries. No. So when you see Delegate Mark Fisher, he's a firebrand. He's from down my way. Maryland has its own Freedom Caucus, and Delegate Matt Morgan is the chair of that. You want to talk about guys who get on the floor of Maryland's House and blow their bangs back? Yeah. Every time Matt Morgan gets on the floor of the House, I turn all the TVs in the practice on. Because when I tell you he lays them flat out, but in a very nice way. He keeps his decorum, but he calls it what it is. Yeah. He's like, you all act like you don't live here.
Exactly.
You act like you're not going to pay these fees. And then they're like, oh, well, your time is over, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They use parliamentary procedures to try to shut them down. But he's really resonating now. Yeah. He's really resonating with people who no longer have this, extra income. Because you're looking at some federal employees who earn $350, who earn $280.
Let me tell you something.
Who now earn nothing.
That is not a whole lot of money. I mean, if you are in a 2-person household, you in Maryland, because Maryland is very it's a high cost of living.
Expensive.
Right.
It is very
$350 is not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
It's not a lot of money.
Let me tell you.
They're taxing middle class. That's middle class income.
Absolutely. Here in Maryland, $300,000 is not a lot for a single person.
Exactly.
It's just, I am squarely middle class. I'm not even like this much above middle class. And I work hard, y'all. You hear me? I got all kinds of side hustles and jobs and whatnot in order to live in this state. It is very expensive.
It's very expensive.
So when you talk about taxing people who make $350,000, I'm gonna make $349,900, and I'm gonna stand on that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the disincentive again, right? It's like, why the hell do you want to work this hard and then half of it or more is going to be eaten out before you even get your take-home pay? You notice that take-home pay, what you are allowed to take home. The audacity, the arrogance, it just drives you crazy. Our tax system was never supposed to be like this. Our Constitution was never meant for the government to run our lives, certainly not down to the damn penny and have us we're basically government employees.
Yeah.
This is about asking folks who are doing well, right? They're making capital gains. This is money that they didn't have to work to earn. These aren't wages. This is money you make by investing money you already have, okay? And this is additional income, passive income, folks like to call it, and we're saying we're going to tax it 1% more.
This is diabolical.
Bitch, please.
Yes. Yes, bitch, please. Yes.
I can't believe
So wait a minute.
this.
Let's back it up.
This is money they haven't earned, right?
That we don't work.
earn.
You didn't work to do that. Like
You
it
know
just
what?
came out of the trees. Like children think money grows on trees. I mean, the nerve, the audacity, the utter arrogance. This is what they think. They think they own us. They own our labor, our time, our work. These bitches need to get out of office. I'm tired of you all voting this way. In Maryland, in particular, we are what, like 3-1, 2-1 Democrat. These are the people in our Maryland General Assembly, and this is how they think. Marylanders, if you're on this feed, all of these people in Maryland, you better start voting differently. You need to contact the Jessica Feldman types, whatever, and tell her to sit her ass down. She doesn't own us. She doesn't own you. I'm sick of these people. Get it right, Maryland. Our state is beautiful. We want to keep it.
Yeah, and let's talk about, because what she's referring to are the capital gains. They are going to tax us heavily on capital gains. So this reveals a fundamental misunderstanding or deliberate misrepresentation of how investments work. Capital gains often result from years of hard-earned income being strategically invested in place.
When you said it, Nicole, like she said that, like where were you? They don't think of work, like you said, work. They only think of work in the sense of them going to the legislature, looking, getting dressed up every day. That's what they think. They really think low, very lowly of people who don't do that kind of that work, if you will, at the state house at that level. They think of the street sweeper and the cashier and they don't think of them as working. And when I hear people talk like that, one of the men of historical men that always come to my mind is Booker T. Washington. Out of slavery, literally out of slavery, he, whatever you want to call it, he rounded up the people, the young people. They lived at Tuskegee. Yeah. They worked at Tuskegee. They built Tuskegee. They planted. They cut down the lumber that they needed. They washed the clothes. And then he turned those skills into economic thresholds, if you will, right? So these people, not only did they get an education, they worked for their education. They supported their education. They had a skill when they left, and then they went out into the community to help reproduce those same skills among their communities. So this is what I always think about. It didn't use the government. They did it themselves, and however long it took.
That was the beauty of the HBCUs early on. Yeah. Is that, okay, we don't want the government assistance. You want to come to this school and your dad's a chicken farmer, we're going to need these many chickens, just to make it work. We've lost our sense of independence.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you were talking about people getting checks in the mail, they only give you enough to want a little bit more next month.
Exactly.
And it's a never-ending cycle. The saddest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen some sad stuff. The saddest thing I've ever seen in my life, in a little town near where I live, there are 5 generations living in the same Section 8 housing. So you got the grandmother and the grandfather who don't live together. They all got their own little situation. Then you got 3 sons and 2 daughters.
Wow.
adults
Adults.
who all live in there. Like the one whole side of the development is nothing but this family. When I said, what are you guys doing? I mean, all of them have jobs. Oh no, we're not paying market rate rent.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with you. I said, but people knock on your door to come in and look at your house to see if it's clean enough. You know what you're doing, selling your freedom for little pieces. It's just anti-American. It is definitely anti-Black culture because that's not where we started.
Not where we started.
And pray to God that's not how we finish.
What?